This is an important concept, I think, this idea of oneness for us to grab onto as we begin to grow in our awareness of our oneness with Source or with God. And again, as we go through this, you're going to hear Roddy and I refer to this creative power that we work with as God. Some of you may have a different map of the world. You may define this power as spirit or infinite intelligence or universal power or first cause. You're going to hear us refer to it as God. But it's this idea that as we begin to grow in our awareness with God, what's important for us is to realize is that as the way that God creates, in the creative process, between you and us and God is there is no difference between the way we create and God creates. The only difference is really is in scale and degree, not in kind. Right. Not in process. And so let me kind of unpack that a little bit, because what we're trying to say is we're becoming more and more learning how to operate in our awareness of our oneness with Source. So rather than us seeing us as separate from the source of all supply, the source of all good things, we have to begin to identify that the only difference is between the way that God designs and creates the universe and the way that we create is in scale and in degree, but not in kind.
It's not something totally different.
Yeah, so you'll hear us talk a lot about one of the teachers that Roddy and I have studied for a long time. His name is Thomas Troward. He says that spirit manifests itself through self-contemplation, and that you and I are individualized expressions of this same power. And therefore, what we contemplate the laws of our being to be, we become.
Right. So, the first time I heard you say that, my mind kind of runs off and jumps off and down. I'm sure some people listening to this are the same. But you're not saying that we can do anything, or we can change anything, or we can change the laws, we can change the shape of the world. We can't, but within the laws of the universe, within God's laws, then we can choose our experience to a large degree. Yeah. We can co-create to a large degree.
Yeah, and of course, God creates on a much grander scale, right. Creating the right? And so there's a lot to pack. So the first part of the sentence here is that he says that spirit manifests itself through self-contemplation. What does that mean? Well, spirit is God, and God is the creator of all things. God is the Alpha and the Omega. And when you see that phrase Alpha and Omega used in the Bible, the phrase is tied right to the words in the last week's lesson of I Am. And for those of you who purchased the lifetime access to the I Am lesson, I encourage you to go back and listen to that lesson, because as you do, I think when you combine the I Am lesson to this oneness lesson, I think it's going to deepen your understanding and really help that awareness. I don't want to say that this is a part 2 to the I Am lesson, because
they go well together.
But they really go well together. So I am, in the Bible, it's I am the Alpha and the Omega, and it appears and is clarified in the additional phrase of kind of in the beginning and in the end. This is in the book of Revelations. And so Alpha and Omega come from the original Greek. So A and O were the first and last in, that's where it comes from. So Alpha and Omega, A and O were first in the originally written text was Greek. So Spirit of God, the creator of all things, creates through this process that we call manifestation. And that process, the manifestation process, begins in the form of thought or in contemplation.